premise that we really would want to get the Islamic cleric who is calling in from Abuja to speak to us today live on the show. So, do we have him? All right, hello.
Hello.
Right. Okay, it's good to have you on the show, Malam Nuruddin Lemu. Are you there with me, sir? Right, excellent. So my first question to you would be that what is the position of Islam with regards to the right of the girl child to get married?
Firstly, Islam does not prescribe any particular age for marriage. As in most societies and with most religious communities, it was left to the family to decide. And so the tradition among Muslim scholars has been, just like what age do you allow somebody to start riding a horse? It's up to the family to decide. But when certain things become significant to the state, Islam has a system whereby through a process called ijtihad, which is the deductive reasoning by qualified scholars, they can decide on things that are in the greater interest of society or otherwise. So Islam doesn't prescribe a particular age for marriage, but it's up to the family traditionally to decide on these type of issues.
Okay, so what would be your stand on Senator Yerima's position at the moment?
Well, from what I understood from the Honorable Senator, his discussion was on the age at which a person is allowed to revoke citizenship. And again, like the age of marriage, at what age do you revoke citizenship? At what age do you join the army? At what age do you start driving a car? These are areas Islam has kept quiet about. It's not explicit in the text of the Quran and the Sunnah, and it is left for the society through its scholars to decide what is in the best interest of society. So the age of deciding on these areas has been left to a society. The area of marriage has been left to the family to decide. There's no maximum or minimum age for marriage. But for what I understand about Yerima's position, it's about the age at which a person denies themselves citizenship.
Yes, that's what its first is. But then on a second look and a deeper analysis, it also comes to confirm and allow women to get married at whatever age, as you said, meaning that the family can decide when they get married. So the next question I'm going to ask is that, in my research, I found that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam married his wife Aisha at 6, and then she moved in at 9, and then he gave out his daughter at 18. As well. So I just want to just shed more light, because the Prophet is highly revered in Islam, and people are able to follow his ways, and because he's a model. So how does this then tell as regards to Islam's opinion and position? Because he's like the model. So if people then follow in that footstep, would it then be like it's already an inherent position that Islam might have taken, maybe without saying it clearly?
Firstly, if we look at the marriages of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he married Khadija at the age of 40. That doesn't mean it is recommended for you to marry at the age of 40. It just shows that it is permissible. His wife Aisha was already engaged even before the marriage was conducted. The point there is, historically, the age of marriage has been left open. If you find, for example, in the Catholic Encyclopedia of 1913, Mary, the mother of Jesus, got married at the age of 12 to Joseph, who was 90 years old. Now, the point here is just to show that in olden times, in biblical times, in pre-modern times, the age was generally left open. So when we look at the practice of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, what we find is what was ongoing at the time. And that is why, with all the people who had criticisms against the Prophet, peace be upon him, none of them raised the issue of the child, the question of the age at marriage. Why? Because it was socially acceptable.
Okay, sir.
It was a moral issue.
Okay, sir, this is my final.
However,
This is my final question to you, sir. Would you categorically say that Senator Yerima should not play the religion card because Islam does not say that a child should marry at 13, at 14, at 15? It doesn't put any age. And so he should not use the religion card in this matter. I would like us to end on that note. If you just say your final answer in a simple statement, what would you say to him? Because he has played the religion card here, and you need to then, correct that abnormally.
Firstly, Islamic law has a process of addressing things. Today we live in a day where we need girls to go to school. There are health implications related to early marriage. And even though Sharia has left this age open, the role of scholars is to look at what is in the best interest of society in our modern context. So while I respect the rights of freedom of speech and people to say their opinions, ideally it is scholars who are qualified areas of ijtihad, the deductive reasoning, look at what is in the best interest of society. And just as Islam has kept quiet on whether you drive on the right side of the road or left, on the age of this and that, scholars to look at our society in collaboration with sociologists, with health workers, and come out with what is in the best interest of our society today, 2013, etc.
Okay, thanks very much. So you've simply said that this is a societal decision and Islam really has nothing to do with it. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And we are... Thank you. All right, bye-bye now. All right, and that was Malam Nuruddin Lemu, an Islamic scholar who's shed light on that matter from Abu.